Gentlemen, welcome back. Our next project is on the bench and ready to go. I know it's been a couple months since I've put anything out, and I keep promising new content. We're a little bit busy. I have a 6-month-old, and he is keeping me darn busy. So I just haven't had time to get out in the garage, but I'm looking forward to the weather cooling off after summer and spending a little more time out here building and fixing stuff. So next thing is here. What do we have? If you can tell, a really ugly, yet beautiful, Remington Model 81. The receiver serial number dates it to about the early 1930s. The barrel jacket date code dates it to the mid 40s, I believe, 46 or 47. So I don't know how this whole thing came together because the front end and the back end don't align perfectly. Who knows how that happened, but it's here and it should work. This one is in 30 Remington, a now obsolete cartridge. This is the 30 Remington. We'll talk about it when we go to shoot it. We'll talk a little more about it, but the 30 Remington was Remington's wannabe answer for the 30-30 Winchester. 30-30 Winchester is still super popular today. 30 Remington is almost identical, other than it's a self-loading, semi-auto, rimless case. We'll talk about that as we go. Good news, this is an obsolete cartridge. There's only a couple companies that still load it. It's very boutique now. It's hard to come by, and it's super expensive. Somebody did come through. I ended up buying about 75 rounds worth of ammo so we can do some test firing. And the gun itself came with this really cool Winchester box. So pretty neat. So we'll talk more about this when we go to shoot it. I'm going to buy some dies. We'll do some reloading of 30 Remington at some point. And a cool thing is you can actually turn 30-30 Winchester, turn the head down and cut the extractor cut a little different. Turn 30-30 Winchester into 30 Remington, which is neat. We might do that depending on how desperate we get. But we got enough ammo for now. So what do we have on the actual bench here? This is as I said, an old Model 81. The 81, the difference is the handguard whenever it comes in is a little bit thicker. And it's got a semi-pistol grip, which is, from what I understand, a little more comfortable than the straight grip on the Model 8. Beyond that, it's not a whole lot different. There is one difference up here. We'll talk about that in a minute. This one in particular is missing a handguard. Obviously missing the screw for the handguard and the escutcheon that goes in the handguard for the screw. Those are all on order. I did find a handguard from Numrich. And I should say, for anybody that sees something like this at a gun show or on a reseller site or something, if you find one in this condition, get it at a good price. The parts for this thing are very hard to find and very expensive. I paid $600 for this gun in this condition, which I don't think is too awful. And it's right on the verge of being a little over expensive, but I really want one. And when we go to shoot it, we'll talk about why, 2 reasons why, John Moses Browning and a K lineage, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah, if you go to find one, try to get it at a good price because the parts are pretty expensive. So anyways, handguard, screw, and escutcheon should be coming in. Rear sight, I was able to source a rear sight that is a aftermarket. I had the option of buying either the aftermarket or an original Remington. The Remington is just a old buckhorn style. The aftermarket one that I found actually has a little elevation thing in it, and it's a nicer sight. We'll talk about that when it comes in, but bought a sight, bought some screws, and interestingly enough, this Model 8 is a long recoil action like the Browning Auto 5 or the Remington Model 11. So the way the sight gets put in is this barrel jacket has 2 holes in it, and there's a stud that comes up, and you screw your sight to the stud. I actually was able to find a stud as well, so we have all that coming in. From there, moving back, the only thing we're missing back here is the bolt for the stock, the tang screw. And luckily, so I wasn't able to source one. I checked all over trying to find one, and I was not able to find one. Luckily, one of the parts dealers that I got some small parts for, screws and whatnot, told me that the screw, and I did test this myself, the tang screw for the back is the same thread pitch size, diameter and everything as the Remington Model 11 shotgun. Funny enough, I have a Remington Model 11 shotgun in the safe from, it's a 1920s model. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the tang screw out of the Model 11. The only difference here, because it's a semi-pistol grip, the screw has to be a little bit longer. So we'll take some measurements off of the Model 11 screw, and one whole video we'll go turn one down on the lathe, cut a slot, and make ourselves a tang screw for the rear. Beyond that, we are going to do a entire takedown, cleaning, and I don't want to say a re-blue, but we're going to boil the whole action. We're going to take the action completely down, the barrel, the jacket, all of it apart, clean everything, and then everything that's blued we're going to boil. And we're going to make a boil tank. I don't know if I'll do a video showing that, but we're going to make a boil tank, use some distilled water, boil everything, and then card it to try to bring out whatever little bits of life is left in. It's still pretty nice, but we're going to try to convert any of the red rust to black rust, card it off, and make it look good again. If there are still some really bad spots on it, we'll do a little bit of touch-up. But I don't really want to take this thing all the way back down and re-rust blue it. It's a very long process, and the bluing is not terrible. I think we can clean it up. So that's what we got. Stock screw, handguard screw, rear sight and screws. Take it all apart, clean it, boil it. Oh, and one other thing, very interesting, the difference between the Model 8, another difference between the Model 8, like I said, and the Model 81. On the Model 8, the handguard removal screw was actually doubled as the sling swivel, the front sling swivel. On the 81, they removed that, made that just a flathead screw, and put a small 1036 screw hole right here under the barrel jacket. And you'll see it when we go through. So you could put a sling stud into there. I actually went online and somehow I was looking on eBay and found an original new old stock Remington Model 81 sling stud kit, which has the front, the rear, and the removable sling attachment things, like quick detach sling removable part. And it was listed as a new old stock Remington part, so I picked it up. So we're gonna put Remington stuff back on it. We'll get ourselves a nice leather sling, bring this thing back to life, take it out, sight it in, get it shooting, talk a little bit about the history, because John Moses Browning made the coolest guns to ever walk the face of the earth. That's my opinion. And then, if everything works itself out the way I'm hoping it will, this fall I would love to go hunting. I have a friend, a buddy, an acquaintance, who has 40 acres of property just south of here, and he said that there's a chance he would take me out. So anybody that doesn't know, I've never been hunting in my life. So hopefully, maybe, come fall, I will get to go on my first whitetail hunt here in Florida, and basically, you know, this was designed exactly for that. So it'd be neat to bring this thing back up to life, throw some original 30 Winchester, 30 Remington in it, and bring home some bacon, some deer bacon. But anyways, that's what we got, guys. Stay tuned. I know I haven't been producing a lot. We're gonna get this one done. All of these parts that I'm waiting on should be in tomorrow or the next day. So by the time this video comes out, which is tomorrow, we should be getting those parts rolling in this same week. That'll give me time in the evenings to start working on this, getting some other stuff done, getting everything put together, filmed. And hopefully we'll have a good, I don't know, 5-part series refinishing and putting this, cleaning it, taking it apart, and then taking it to the range and shooting it. So stay tuned. We're going to get this one done. After this, I don't know how long it'll be before we do another, but we're going to get this whole thing done. It'll be 5 or 6 videos, so get excited. This one's going to be really cool. For 2 big reasons, John Moses Browning and AK Safety Latch, I've always wanted a Model 8, so I got my hands on an 81. We're gonna redo this, guys. All right, stay tuned. We will. I'll see you next week, and we will get started tearing this thing down and fixing it up.